I don't have a problem doing work. In fact, I love to work out and I love the sensation of working out and the dopamine that's released from it. I love that. I mean, this is exactly why we all, let's say, get addicted to it, and what keeps us coming back, that, let's say, hormonal response, the reward system that we get from doing work and working out and whatever. But there's like a level to this. There's levels to this in the sense of, like, when you're doing an exercise for the sake of doing an exercise, and you don't really understand the mechanism behind it, you don't really understand why you're doing it, other than, well, I'm going to break a sweat, I'm going to get my heart rate up, my respiration up, like it's going to be great. Which is all well and good, but for me, the way I think about training, the way I think about movement, biomechanics, I want a deeper connection to it. And this is a strength and a weakness at the same time, because you often bounce around with your ideas and you don't stick around with a lot. But this is a process where you are chasing something. Doing an exercise like you just saw me doing that thing before, I don't even know what to call it, like side kick or whatever. I'm targeting the side glute, minimus, medius, let's say TFL as well. It's kind of like that whole stretching routine that I'm trying to get stronger on the outside of the glute, with hopes that I'm going to get longer muscles in the adductors, and I'm going to have better squat mobility and all of that stuff that's associated with it. So I'm doing that, and it's an open movement. It's an open chain movement. You're kind of just like throwing your legs around, and there's benefit to that, don't get me wrong. But do you really feel that, like, deep down in your core, that that's going to actually do something? I do, but I don't feel like it's a 5-star rating exercise for whatever reason. I could be completely misguided by that. But, like, I did that, and I did 10 sets of 10 of that. Moved on, and I kept thinking about what could I be doing. And so I did my front squats, worked up to 170, hit that. Then I did my deadlifts to 240, did that. And I kept thinking, when have I ever in my life felt like a proper freaking burn in my side glutes? By accident, say I was doing something else. And then it occurred to me, that's the trigger that my mind needed. I remember once upon a time when I was really trying to chase cheap hamstrings in a hip hinge type of movement. Instead of going into a leg curl machine and doing that, I wanted a proper closed movement, hip hinging with weight in my hand, something that is, in my mind, is going to be transferable to the actual deadlift and the squat. And I remember doing that single-legged RDLs. I remember doing that exercise thinking, okay, I'm going to be on one leg, so technically speaking, I should be able to do like half of the weight, which is cheaper on the system, right? Because I'm doing half the damn weight. I don't have to go to 200 kilo RDLs. I can maybe get away with 60, and that's going to murder me because of the whole unilateral thing. It's going to really tax me. And I remember doing that, and the thing that stopped me, the rate limiting step of that exercise, wasn't the hamstrings, surprisingly. It was the freaking side glutes, man. It lit up, and I was hobbling around between sets like almost, I had a nerve injury, freaking, I've seen patients with hip injuries, nerve injuries, and they have like this dropping hip kind of gait when they walk. They drag their leg, and they have to kick the leg around, and it just, once you see like a nerve injury like that, you never forget it. That's kind of how I was walking around from the fatigue that I had in the glute medius and minimus, the whole side thing. And then I left that exercise because I was like, well, shit, this is hitting something that I don't want to be hitting. I want to be hitting the hamstrings, and I moved away. And today I thought of it. And so after the squats and the deadlifts, I went to that, and I did 5 sets of 10. And my God, is it challenging. Number one, the balancing obviously is a problem. But that whole balancing point, like I thought about putting my leg behind me, kind of doing like I don't know what you call it, like a B stance deadlift or whatever they call it, like a staggered stance. And I thought, well, this is going to aid in the balance. But what I really want is I want that glute on an island by itself dealing with the damn thing. The whole balancing and the whole, hip hinging. I want that leg to do everything. And so I did 5 sets of 10. And yes, I feel it in my glutes. More so than the stuff that I was doing before as a warm-up, the whole side kicking, bend over on all fours type thing. You could probably say they do both of them, and I will probably continue to do both. The first thing is, the side kicking business. It feels good. It's cheap, really, really cheap. And it gets the muscle kind of like, going. But I feel like it's not the greatest thing that we should be doing, people that are concerned with moving the barbell as best as possible. Now, for side splits, middle splits, fantastic. I can continue to do that. I could probably do that every day if I think about it. But this, what I did with the barbell, the RDLs, the single-legged RDLs, I think that's going to cost me a little bit. The way I feel right now, sitting in the car after the session, I'm like, yeah, I've felt this before. I feel like tomorrow I'm going to have a bit of DOMS to deal with, which is fine. It's exactly, but I get turned on when I do an exercise that hits exactly bullseye, like right in the middle where I want it. And you know, on top of that, it's an exercise which I feel deep down in my soul that's actually going to carry over really well to the barbell lifts. So it's really cool, right? Like I don't know. I feel like it's a 5-star movement whenever you're holding a weight in your hand and you're moving your body through space, rather than doing a closed movement where you are just isolating a limb, and everything else is kind of, I don't know. I want to say not really involved, but it's probably not the case. So probably lots of things are happening when you're doing the side kicks. I don't know. That's kind of the feeling that I have. I could be wrong, like I said, but I feel like when I got to the barbell and I started doing the single-legged RDLs, I was like, man, if I get really, really good at this, like really good at this, I can see myself really good at other things similar to this. But if I get really, really, really good at the side kicking, you know, on all fours, I don't know, man. Just to be fair, like I feel like I will be better off doing the RDLs. That could be me being biased because I'm a barbell kind of guy, and I just, you know, it's not that I don't get excited, but I really, really, I don't get that full 5-star feeling when I do, like, you know, exercises which are open, or whatever you want to call it, open chain, where you're kind of laying down and just moving one movement, like one, you know, which is fine for bodybuilding and, let's say, weakness, you know, finding weakness, destruction, like all that stuff, that's fine. But when you can do that with a bit more specificity to your actual goal, I just feel like it's a 5-star choice and it's better time spent. I could be wrong though. Anyway, guys, like always, appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate all the Patreon supporters. You guys are absolute champions. Even when the channel slows down like it has in recent months, you know, your support is always there. No matter what happens, no matter what the algorithm does, you guys are there for me. And I don't know how I can make you feel appreciated, but it really means a lot, and it really, you know, feels like this channel has a huge community behind it. So I thank you, all of you guys. Appreciate you. Peace out.